when my mother texted the family group chat. Change of plans. We're celebrating at a high-end restaurant. Adults only. The room went dead silent. Sitting across from me at the kitchen table was my 17-year-old daughter, her hands blistered and her apron stained with flour after spending 12 straight hours cooking a full 5-course feast for 23 family members. My mother didn't just cancel dinner. She deliberately excluded the very granddaughter who had poured her heart into making her birthday special, all to keep up appearances for her wealthy friends. I saw the tears pooling in my daughter's eyes, but instead of screaming or causing a scene, I simply typed back, "Understood. Have a great night." My mother thought she had won. She thought she was going to enjoy her fancy dinner with my money. She had no idea that within 2 hours, I would flip the script so completely that by the next morning, she'd be banging on my door, begging for forgiveness. My name is Sophie Bennett. I'm 41 years old, and if there's one thing I've learned in over 4 decades on this earth, it's that toxic family members will use your love as leverage until you finally put your foot down. For years, I did everything I could to protect my 17-year-old daughter, Maya, from that reality. Maya is a bright, passionate kid whose hands are rarely clean of flour, spices, or chocolate. Her absolute dream in life is to attend chef school after graduation, and honestly, she has the natural talent to make it anywhere. So, when my mother, Evelyn, called us 6 weeks ago with a big request, Maya's eyes lit up. Evelyn was turning 65 and wanted to throw a massive birthday celebration for 23 of our extended relatives. Instead of hiring a professional caterer, my mother put on her best soft, manipulative voice and asked Maya if she would handle the entire event to help save money. Evelyn promised she would pay for every single ingredient and hinted that this feast would be the ultimate centerpiece for Maya's culinary school application portfolio. Maya threw herself into the project body and soul. She spent weeks drafting a flawless 5-course menu, researching prep schedules, and budgeting ingredients down to the last cent. In the 2 days leading up to the party, Maya barely slept. She spent 12 straight hours in our kitchen chopping, braising, baking, and perfecting every single dish with the precision of a seasoned head chef, all out of pure love for her grandmother. By 3 o'clock on the afternoon of the party, our house smelled incredible. The rich aroma of slow-roasted garlic, simmering herbs, and fresh pastry filled every room. Maya stood at the counter, wiped a smudge of flour from her forehead, and let out a tired, triumphant sigh. Her hands were blistered and red, her apron was covered in stains, and she had spent 12 hours on her feet. But looking at the rows of carefully arranged courses, from delicate appetizers to artisanal entrees, her eyes shone with genuine pride. Everything was ready for the 23 guests to arrive at 5. Then, at precisely 3:15, my phone buzzed. It was a notification from the family group chat. My mother had sent a message. "Change of plans, everyone. We're celebrating at the new downtown restaurant instead. Adults only celebration. See you all at 6. I stared at the screen, completely stunned. Before I could even process what I was reading, a private text from my mother popped up on my screen. "Sophie, teenagers just don't fit the upscale vibe of this place. Tell Maya she can just put all that food into Tupperware for your lunches next week." I looked up from my phone and saw Maya holding her apron in her hands. She had seen the group text. I watched her face fall, her smile vanishing as realization set in. My mother hadn't changed her mind at the last minute. She had planned this all along to look wealthy in front of her friends, completely discarding her own granddaughter, like cheap labor. Maya tried to brush away a tear, but I saw her shoulders begin to tremble as the humiliation washed over her. A hot, sharp anger surged through my chest, but I knew that throwing a screaming fit over the phone would solve nothing. That was exactly what my mother would expect. A frantic argument that she could easily twist to make herself look like the victim. I refused to give her that satisfaction. Instead, I took a deep, steadying breath, walked over to where Maya was standing, and gently pulled the apron from her trembling hands. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Your hard work is not going to waste tonight. I promise you." My mind immediately shifted into overdrive, mapping out every single detail of my next move. And then, a crucial detail flashed through my memory. 2 days ago, Evelyn had asked me for my credit card just in case she needed to make emergency party runs for ice or extra chairs. She still had my card tucked inside her designer purse. Her plan was glaringly obvious now. She was going to order the most expensive dishes and wine at that restaurant, parade around in front of her high society friends, and slam me with a 4-figure bill at the end of the night. She thought she was playing me, using my daughter for free labor and my bank account for her luxury lifestyle. But as I pulled out my phone, a cold, quiet calm settled over me. I wasn't going to fight her. I was going to turn her own game right back on her. I opened my banking app, navigated directly to my credit card settings, and toggled the master switch to locked. With one tap, any attempt to process a transaction on that card was instantly blocked. Just to be safe, I set a secondary alert on my phone that would ping me the moment a declined attempt was made. Evelyn's financial safety net was officially gone, though she had no idea yet. Next, I turned my attention to the feast sitting on our counters. Millions of people would pay top dollar for a meal cooked with this level of skill, and I wasn't going to let it rot in Tupperware. I grabbed my tablet and logged into 3 different neighborhood community groups and local culinary forums. I typed out a quick, enthusiastic message. Pop-up community feast tonight. My daughter, a talented, aspiring chef, prepared a 5-course gourmet meal for a private event that just canceled. We're opening our doors to neighbors, local first responders, and food lovers. Free of charge, just come show some love to an amazing young chef. Within 20 minutes, our driveway started filling up with cars. Neighbors we hadn't talked to in months, off-duty firefighters from down the street, and local food enthusiasts showed up with big smiles and open appetites. Our dining room transformed into a lively, vibrant banquet hall. People were taking photos, raving over the intricate flavors, and asking Maya for her business cards. Watching my daughter's tears turn into radiant pride as she was showered with genuine compliments was worth every single penny. Maya wasn't just surviving the night. She was being celebrated like the star she was. While our house buzzed with laughter, applause, and the clinking of glasses, a very different kind of drama was unfolding across town at the restaurant. Evelyn and her 22 guests had taken over a massive private booth, ordering expensive aged steaks, seafood towers, and top-shelf wine, all under the impression that my credit card would quietly cover the damage. Right around 8 o'clock, my phone lit up with a security notification. Transaction declined, $1,840. A huge smile spread across my face. I could almost picture the scene at the restaurant. Evelyn, casually handing over my card with a smug look, only for the waiter to return moments later, softly explaining that the card had been rejected. She would have tried it again, growing louder and insisting there was a mistake on the bank's end, only for it to fail a second time right in front of all her pretentious friends. Within 2 minutes, my phone started buzzing continuously. First a call from Evelyn, which I let go straight to voicemail. Then a flood of frantic text messages. Sophie, pick up. Your card isn't working, followed quickly by, you're embarrassing me in front of everyone. Unblock this card right now. I didn't reply to a single message. I simply set my phone face down on the kitchen counter and walked back over to pour another glass of iced tea for one of our guests. Evelyn was trapped. She was forced to face the ultimate humiliation, standing before 22 wealthy relatives, swallowing her pride, and begging them to split a nearly $2,000 bill among themselves because her fake luxury lifestyle had finally caught up to her. The next morning, at precisely 8 o'clock, the frantic pounding began at my front door. I poured myself a quiet cup of coffee, took a slow sip, and opened the door. Evelyn stood on the porch, her hair unkempt, her makeup smudged, and her cheeks burning bright red with anger. She had clearly spent a sleepless night replaying her humiliation over and over again. Before she could even step inside, she started screaming, her voice cracking with fury. How dare you do that to me, Sophie? You humiliated me in front of the entire family. I had to beg your aunts and uncles to put their cards together to pay for my own birthday dinner. You locked that card on purpose. I didn't flinch. I took another calm sip of coffee and looked her dead in the eye. I didn't ruin your dinner, Mom. Your greed, and disrespect did. You used a 17-year-old girl for 12 hours of backbreaking labor, threw her away like garbage the second you wanted to look rich, and expected me to pay $2,000 for you to celebrate being cruel to my daughter. Evelyn opened her mouth to interrupt with another excuse, but I cut her off with an icy, commanding tone she had never heard from me before. You owe Maya $800 for catering labor and ingredient costs out of your own bank account by noon today. If that money isn't in her account, you are completely cut off from both of our lives. No visits, no phone calls, and no second chances. We are done. For the first time in her life, my mother saw that her control over me was completely shattered. By 11:30 that morning, a notification popped up on Maya's phone, an online transfer of $800 from Evelyn, along with a brief, stiff text message apologizing for the misunderstanding. Evelyn realized that her pride wasn't worth losing her daughter and granddaughter forever, but the damage to our relationship was already done. Boundaries were set, and for the first time, my mother knew I meant every word. Maya took that $800, along with the high-resolution photos and glowing written reviews from our pop-up community feast, and put together a breathtaking digital portfolio. 2 months later, that exact portfolio landed her an early acceptance into her top-choice culinary arts program, complete with a merit scholarship. Out of a selfish attempt to humiliate us, my mother unwittingly gave my daughter the exact launching pad she needed to start her professional dream. Looking back, taking control of that night wasn't just about revenge. It was about teaching my daughter that she never has to let anyone diminish her worth, no matter who they are. What about you? Did I handle my mother the right way by locking that credit card? Or would you have done something different? Comment your city and your thoughts down below, and don't forget to check out the other story on your screen right now.